Hey folks, this is RotorStorm331 back to doing another attempt at Katt's Guide once again. I kind of screwed up and forgot to mention the spells last time, so I want to get this out of the way before the day ends. Anyway, my apologies for the mess up again. But anyway, we're going to be covering Breath of Fire 2's Katt and go over her strengths, weaknesses, field and combat abilities, spells, best gear equipment, and shaman fusion forms. And we're going to get started right now with covering her stats. Katt is your typical glass cannon fighter, pretty much. She has overall great strength and agility and has good luck for her three base stats, but you can definitely tell her defense is pretty poor. Now, her stats are without any stat boosting items to bolster her stats. So this is basically what it is before, by the time Katt hits level 50. After that, she won't be getting a whole lot of stat gains outside any stat boosting items you might acquire. So basically, Katt will not survive very long in combat against more stronger enemies that hit pretty hard on physical attacks due to her very low HP and defense. Come to think of it, there are ways to actually remedize her poor AP, which is the poorest among all the playable characters in Breath of Fire 2, as well as her HP. But the downside is that you do have to give up a lot of good things in exchange. Like, in order to get very good AP for Katt, you do need to recruit Yozo from Windia, but that also means giving up Hans. You also have to give up getting access to Chop Chop, which you can get for Wildcat by choosing to forgive him and to admit you're soft-hearted for the most part. And if you choose not to forgive him, he'll instead boost your HP. Now keep in mind, you can only get this before you go to Semaphore. And if you do go to Semaphore and go to Wildcat Restaurant for the story-wise, you won't have the opportunity to do either one of them. So Chop Chop is actually pretty good against any high defense enemies that usually take one or less damage for the most part. And I just feel like if you want to use Katt for the long haul, you do need to make those options. Technically, Katt is more of a physical fighter than a mage for the most part. She only gets access to 3 spells, and we're going to go over these right now. The first one she gets is Fireball. This is arguably the strongest fire damage in the entire game. She gets that at level 11, I believe. But it requires 20 AP, which is not possible without Yozo's help for the most part, or going trying to level up to level 99 to get enough AP to perform it. Hail is probably the only spell she will get access to and usable by the time she gets to near level 50. This is arguably your strongest ice spell damage for the most part. Deals anywhere between 100 to 110 or around the 95 range for the most part. Fireball does pretty much identically the same thing with 110 or lower, and with any spells that hit elemental weak spots, it'll deal more. Bold Axe is arguably our strongest one, but she won't be able to use that without Shaman fusing and AP boosting for the most part. So you won't be able to see Bold Axe being used by Katt anytime soon, unless you fulfill those requirements for her, that is. In terms of Shamans, Katt requires the Shin Devil Shaman to fuse properly. She will not have immediate access to any of the Shamans, unfortunately, and any attempt will result in failure up until then. So Katt really doesn't get any Shaman fusion abilities until after you get done with Evrai, and pretty much got Shin after you watch the cutscene at Gate, in which the dragon's forced to release the gates. So anyway, that covers Katt pretty much on terms of stats and spells. So let's go over her field ability. Katt's field ability is Bash, which allows her to pretty much bash monsters and animals on the field. So this makes Katt actually a more reliable hunter than Bo is, in my opinion. Technically well worth using for the most part. Her field ability at least allows you to break open boulders as well as the wooden gate in Grandpa's in the whale cave, as well as getting access to certain parts of Grandpa's stomach. And you also need to use bash in order to awaken Grandpa by striking his Adam's apple. So that covers her field ability. So we're going to get into combat right now and access her combat ability, Dare. As a boss in early game, she uses that to try to weaken Ryu's strength to damage only one. If I remember correctly from what I've learned, Katt's Dare is capable of drawing enemy aggro to her. And believe it or not, this was, I think Capcom tried to actually implement a dodge take mechanic into Katt, but they probably didn't have enough time to actually wager agility into evasion for the most part, since evasion's more RNG based as opposed to agility. But you could definitely say that Katt is definitely the mother of dodge tanking, which later became more popular and famous in the Xenoblade Chronicles series and the Trails series, in which you have characters that can take full advantage of boosting their agility and draw enemy attention to them for the most part. So she's actually the pioneer for dodge tanking for the most part. So we're going to try to get an enemy to attack her, but it's pretty obvious they won't attack her. But yeah, I might have to re-look up Dare again, but if anyone does know, please leave it on comments. So we're going to go ahead and finish this fight. But general ideal is that Dare is meant to direct all the enemies to her, and it was supposed to meant to have her direct dodge all the attacks through her agility, but it does not work in the final build, and I would strongly recommend not using Dare at all, because Katt just has very poor defenses, and it's not very good in the nutshell. But then again, just about nearly half of the combat abilities in Breath of Fire 2 is not very useful. So I'm going to try to use Dare again, just to try to get Mammoth to attack her, but it probably won't always work. Wow, he did not attack. I don't know why. Okay, so there it is. So basically the general idea was pretty much have her dodge that, but she can't do that due to the fact that it's more RNG based as opposed to agility based. So anyway, we're going to go back to Township and get access to her Shaman form. Now, like I said before, she does require Shin to fuse properly. So, along with that Shaman, you can fuse that along with Senna, Sesso, or Spo, and she can get whatever stat boost in addition to the Shin. Now, of course, when you unite Katt with Shin, she does get extra AP. In addition to any stat boosts that go along with it, along with the secondary Shaman. So as you can definitely tell, Katt's overall offense picked up. Her stamina also increased a bit, as well as her wisdom. And even her luck went up a little bit there. But you can definitely tell her offense skyrocketed right then and there. So we're going to go out and get into a fight real quick so we can access her exclusive ability in this form. Katt has the ability called Keep, which is a 2-turn attack, pretty much. So once Katt performs this and successfully pulls off the attack, she'll deal a very high damage crit for the most part. So we're going to go ahead and activate that. And then we're going to have Katt do the attack, and you'll see the damage for yourself. So this actually makes Katt arguably one of the more better characters to utilize for final game if you want to take on Death Even. But at the same time, even with this fusion form, she's not going to do very well surviving a whole lot, since her durability is not very good. Which is very tragic given the fact she's one of the more stronger party members in the entire game, along with Rand and Ryu. So I'm going to go ahead and cancel the fusion and go over her final gear. For endgame wise, if you're planning to take her with you into the final battles with Death Even. So it goes without question that the Meow Staff is her best weapon. You get those from fighting Karms in the second half of Infinity. Be ready to grind like a madman if you want to get access to this staff, though. If you don't want to take a chance of trying to go for it, you can definitely sell with the Riot staff, which is also acquired in Infinity as well. I don't have her best armor right now, but she shares the same armor as Rand for best armor, which is Mammoth Claws. That does give her resistance against ice as well. But if you don't want to take a chance, you can sell with Mother Robe, Brave Armor, or Rainbow Robe, or even Noise Robe as well. And those can work just as good for her body armor. For shields, she can do well with the Holy Shield, which sometimes allows her to negate spell damage, but not all the time. And of course, her best helmet is Sun Mask. You can also go with Silver Helmet, which can easily be acquired from Windia Castle, or on a rare occasion, win it from the witch that you fight at the witch party at Wildcat Restaurant. For accessories, I would strongly recommend bolstering her overall defense with Iron Bracelet. You can give her any other accessory to accommodate that, like a Dream Bar or Shiny Bracelet or even Hero Belt to improve damage. But if you are planning to max out her stats, I would recommend getting her offense and agility maxed out and get her defense up to speed, because that's actually her big failing right there with the defense for the most part. But anyway, that covers Katt's guide. My apologies if I'm not very coherent or very good with speaking. It's not one of my strong areas, but I do want to make these guides so I can distribute my knowledge to people that want to play this game in general. And I hope these guides do help out in some small way. There's probably others that could probably do a way better job than I could, but that's not going to stop me from putting out these guides. Anyway, I will have more guides once I get more party members up to level 50, and I will catch you all next time, and I will have this and the rain guide posted up either tomorrow or sometime during next week. Anyway, this is RotorStorm331 signing off. Have a great day. Take care, and I will see you all next time. Have a